Welcome back, everybody. The History Guy here. I am continuing my series as the Nation of Israel in the modern day mod of Hearts of Iron 4. And there are a couple additional components to that mod. There are three mods total that I'm enabling that are all part of the same thing, which is known as Millennium Dawn. And I'll list those below. And if you have any more questions about those, I'll be glad to answer those as best I can. Just to recap, we are at war with the Islamic State as well as their puppet nation, the Islamic terrorist state of Iraq. And things are going along quite smoothly. So let's go ahead and continue that. I've got some supply issues at the moment that are kind of hindering things. The Syrian Arab Republic joined NATO. Wow, who saw that coming? Syria is now part of NATO. I don't even think I'm part of NATO. So that's fascinating to me. That's something you don't think you would ever see in real life. So let's take a look at the... We've got some government points we can spend here. I'm not entirely sure if there's anything I want to spend those on, but... Alright, so there's my industrialization of Israeli cities, which gives me 4 new civilian factories as well as some new building slots, which is very helpful. But here's the big one. This is the one I was really looking forward to. That's complete economic reform. I'm going to get production of 20 steel. I'm going to get a national spirit, which improves my construction speed, as well as 9 new civilian factories and 9 new building slots. That's huge as I try to build my economy. And then I'll also, after that, be able to go after an additional research slot. So those are huge things. And I do have improved construction tools about to be completed here. Modern support weapons coming after that. What's going on here? So Czech Republic wants to provide on a monthly basis. I don't know what those are, but yes. Whatever you want to provide, I'll take it. Thank you. I'm doing their dirty work. All these nations are at war with ISIS, but none of them are actually fighting them. So I'm doing what nobody else is willing to do right now. Alright, let's take a look. Our main battle tanks here. We could actually get all the way up to the Merkava 5. And that only takes 86 days. So anything I can do to improve these tanks, I think that's a good thing. Which one am I producing right now? Yeah, I'm producing the Merkava 4, so I'm immediately going to get another upgrade on those tanks. Alright, we're pressing ahead here. Won't be long before ISIS is out of the picture. And hopefully I can hang on to some of this territory in the process. A lot of attrition going on here. But hopefully very soon we'll start moving forward again. Or we'll just tell them to do it this way. Press ahead, press ahead. They cancel what? You just started the Lend-Lease and now you're canceling it already? Some fickle people up there in the Czech Republic. Alright, let's finish these guys off. Another month or two, ISIS should be out of the picture. There's modern support weapons. Let's see. Red dot sight. Red laser sight. Little things, but little things that help. There's a big one right there. Improved anti-tank weapons. Lots of things we can do to improve the quality of our military here. What do we need? Looks like I need some more chromium. No, I don't need that many. My trade with Russia continues. ISIS is just about to cease to exist here. We're going to start closing in on Mosul pretty soon. I thought they had already joined NATO. What's up with that? A little strange there. They've joined NATO twice. Alright, so here comes the fun part when we close in on NATO, or close in on Mosul. Oh, looks like it's over. I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, it's over. Okay. Come on, the rest of you people don't really think you're going to get anything, do you? So I want Mosul, yep. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to satellite them. I just want to take them all. How about that? I don't know if I can take all these too. We're going to try. Nope, not quite. Can I keep Damascus? We'll let them have Aleppo. That looks like it's possible. All right. Now, what else is there available here to me? I can't do that. I think I'm probably going to need to be content with what I've got here. Now, let's take all states. All right. So is that how this ends? I think it is. Peace conference is over. Look at my nation. It's huge now. Syria. Syria has ceased to exist. It is all now part of the greater Israeli state. And it looks like I continue in my war against Iraq, which is now known as the Iraqi Caliphate. But they're also about to cease to exist. I annexed Syria. I gotta be honest, I didn't see that coming. Take it all. No, I guess I'm not taking it all. Not yet, anyway. So we'll end our turn here. And then we just got to pass until we have enough points to be able to take the rest of it. There we go. End turn. Done. All right, so. Wow. My formerly very tiny nation suddenly looks very large. U.S. wants to sign a pact of non-aggression. Well, I thought we were friends already, but okay, the Donald. Yes, we accept that, Donald. Thank you very much. Now, let's take a time out here because we've got a lot to think about. Suddenly, I'm in control of a whole bunch of oil, for one thing, which is really nice. I do not need to trade anymore for aluminum. I am, however, still in need of some steel, which is kind of surprising. But, hey, gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, so there's that. We've got suddenly a bunch of, well, not a bunch, but we've got some free military factories, which is nice. So a lot of different places I could be working on production. I'm going to scale back my main battle tank production just because I'm going to be getting some new ones that I'll want to produce here soon. And that also is going to affect my trade needs a little bit. Who am I importing from? Interesting. Look at all that surplus oil all of a sudden. Chromium we can cut back on a little bit. All right. Okay, so now, I guess for now we go ahead and condense everybody back into one army here. What do we got here? Non-aggression pact with Angela Merkel in Germany. Yes. Suddenly, I'm apparently a world player here. We've generated quite a bit of tension, and that is why that people are suddenly paying attention to us. Of course, a whole new world of opportunities for me now. Look at that manpower. I suddenly have a lot more manpower. Still working on production here, but production's always going to be slowed by my lack of equipment. I definitely need more mechanized, more infantry equipment, more motorized. So we're going to have to start focusing on military production here if I want to keep my army growing, because now I've got the manpower to grow it a little bit, and I can think about the future and the directions that I want to go with some things. So we're going to basically tell these guys to be garrison units right now. Just so we're kind of spread out and defending the whole region, and it's a lot easier to add new units to that when you have the garrison going. So hopefully things will be a little bit quiet now for a little while. We've got the economic reform that we're working on, which is going to be very helpful as I continue to grow my economy. I've got some infrastructure to repair from the war. I do have some military factories that are under production right now. As you can see, there does tend to be some lag in the game at times. It kind of hangs up, like right now on July 4th, going into July 5th of 2018. So usually when that happens, it seems like there's something that's about to happen in the world. But in this case, no, it just like to hang up there for a little bit. So that's one of those things with this mod. This mod does seem to be pretty resource heavy from the very beginning, unlike a lot of the mods that you'll play. So we're getting ready to finish modern hardware, which is going to reduce the research time. That's nice. Let's just check in on production here. Slow down some more on main battle tank and just continue to focus on modern equipment, the military equipment that I need. Not entirely sure why it's not. There we go. Now we get those jet fighters production going. Okay. Let's look at trade again, because we're obviously importing way more of some things than we need, because our own production is up. Love that surplus oil. Suddenly I am energy independent. Gonna need some chromium from Russia. Alright, so we got to think about what comes next for my nation, other than the things I'm doing with my economy. Diplomatically, I need to be thinking about what comes next. Rocket engines. Yeah, I want to do some decryption, because I want to know what's going on in the nations around me in case there are further threats that happen. Turkey obviously needs to be a concern at this point. Saudi Arabia, Kingdom of Jordan. Let's see what our relationship with Jordan looks like. It's pretty good, actually, at the moment. I'm going to continue to improve relations there. Of course, now I have a border with Iran, and that's a big deal, because they certainly are not my friends and have no interest in being my friends. Economic reform still about 70 days away. I'm going to start thinking about some of the options as far as diplomacy go. Got some political focuses here. I could go with Sharia law in Israel. Wouldn't that be something? You could go with a complete Jewish state. Wow, that would give me 50% recruitable. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Recruitable population 1.5. Let's look over here. We've got internal policy options. Most of those seem to have to do with manpower, political power. Manpower is not really a concern for me at the moment. So I may think about going down the road of the militarization tree here next, just to start building those military factories up. After that, I'm going to switch to diplomatic focus. I've had some of you suggest, hey, why don't you go for the Middle East Alliance? That would be pretty interesting. And yes, it would. Of course, some of those countries don't even exist anymore. However, I am rather inclined to think that I could just take over the Middle East. So I may go aggressive policy here and eventually claim some of these areas. But we'll see what happens when I get to that part. I'm going to go down this militarization tree first because there's a lot that I can do to ramp up my military, and I'm going to need that if I'm going to go to war with some of those nations. So let's look at artillery here for a second. I'm just doing little things right now that are going to improve the military I already have. All right, there's the next main battle tank. And we're actually caught up all the way to 2018, which we could go to the Generation 4 main battle tank, which I think I'll do. You know what? I'll wait because I want to start producing some of those, and I want to stop having to upgrade constantly. So let's go back to improving manufacturing some more. And yes, we're going to go ahead and update our main battle tank production to the Merkava 5. And of course, that is once again going to mean changes to trade. We're going to need a little bit more steel. Wish I didn't export so much because then I wouldn't need to be trading for it. Alright, we're a surplus everywhere. What are my factories doing? They're working on repairing some infrastructure in Damascus. And then we're going to get to building a military factory. Got a repair to one as well. Alright. Is there anything I can be doing here with political power? That I wouldn't feel would be a waste of time. Okay. So there's my greater nation of Israel, which includes most of Syria and Iraq. I'm thinking Lebanon's got to be feeling a little bit nervous right now. What about Saudi Arabia? They're part of the Peninsula Shield Force. So that's a coalition of states. It's a faction that includes Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain, the UAE, and the state of Qatar or Qatar. So it is literally a Peninsula Shield Force. So that's pretty interesting. I have no thoughts of going after any of them right now. Honestly, I just want to build up my economy, build up my military, and eventually I'm going to demand these lands from the Palestinians. World tension's starting to go back down some. I don't believe there are any wars going on right now. No. The entire world is currently at peace. So, since I dealt with the world's terrorism problem for the time being, I wonder what everybody else is up to. We can't quite see what is going on in the U.S. We don't have the decryption ability, so... Alright, major conservative rally, that's fine and dandy. Conservatives are already in power in my nation, so anything that strengthens my existing government, probably a good thing. I don't really have any designs on going to war with Jordan. I feel like they're a pretty reasonable government. Alright, we are just about to complete economic reform. I've got some free civilian factories, so once again, going to focus on military factories a little bit. I'm maxed out on factories in a lot of places, so there's very few places I could actually build these military factories, but we'll put in a couple there. We're going to get some new building slots here in a couple minutes. Let's see where we're at. We could actually put these guys in the field now. They're still short on main battle tanks and motorized and mechanized. What about the infantry? Light mechanized and mechanized. All right, let's pause for just a second because I'm making some more changes to production here. I'm going to ramp up production on battle tanks. And let's see how that affects trade. Going to need a lot more steel. Come on, guys. I produced the steel. Just stop exporting so much of it. Okay, so we're going to have to use a lot more of my factories to be producing trade, but that's just the way it goes. There's complete economic reform, which made some changes, and immediately I can cut back now on trade a little bit, at least with my steel production. All right, now we're going to start focusing on the military. Going to get a bunch of military factories up and running. And of course, with more military factories, needs change yet again. All right, so we're going to try to get maybe to the end of October or November here with this episode. Starting to focus on the militarization now, and eventually I'll have to start thinking about where I go next with my expansion ideas. All right, let's think about the next upgrade for my military here. We'll go with some little things like red dot sights. Anti-tank weapons was a big one. That gave a lot of bonuses to my military. I don't think there's any doctrine research going on here. So let's think about mobile warfare. I think that's probably the way I want to go. I want to have a mobile blitzkrieg type of warfare with my tanks providing the main firepower. We'll get some artillery improvements coming here. I also want to focus on doing some things to improve my decryption so I can kind of know what's going on in the rest of the world a little better than I currently do, because I can't even see what people are focusing on at the moment. All right, so construction moves ahead on this military factory. It's going to be done before too long. I don't know if I have any nuclear reactors or not. If not, I probably need to produce one. We don't have any nuclear bombs, which I thought that Israel, at least covertly, is a nuclear nation. So that's something I guess I have to think about here, is a nuclear reactor. And I guess we'll put it right there in Tel Aviv. Not sure how long that'll take. All right, so we'll probably go to the end of November with this episode and see where things stand. That'll complete a couple more research projects there. That'll take me right up to the edge of my first militarization project. I really don't want to go after Jordan. I feel like Jordan's a pretty reasonable place to be. And I'd rather just kind of keep them on my good side if I can. Going to upgrade artillery one more time. But in the meantime, towed artillery can now be upgraded. So improved artillery 2 it is. All right. So maybe Iran is the place to go, because Iran doesn't have a lot of friends really in the world, and that might be the kind of place that I could potentially expand with not too much of an issue. And it's a large nation. They have a lot of people, but it's a lot of ground to cover too, and it would greatly expand the size of my country. So that's something I'll consider. but I'm not entirely sure that's the way to go, at least not until I can ramp up my military a little more. I want to have a lot more than 18 divisions before I go down that road. But I think that's where we're going to head next. We're going to rid the world of radical Islam. The reasonable people, like the Jordans of the world, they can be our friends. All right, so we'll take it up to the end of the production of, or the research of improved 3D manufacturing, which again will just help with the efficiency of my production, which is starting to get better. You can see still a long way to go with some of these productions. But the more I produce them, the more efficient I'll get. The more factories I get, the faster I'll be able to produce things. And it'll just keep going in that direction all the way along here. There we go. Let's see what we're short on here. Mechanized and light mechanized seem to be our issues at the moment. All right, so I want to look at things involving encryption and decryption right now, so we can get a little better sense of what's going on in the rest of the world. But I'm going to wrap it up right there. It's December of 2018. My nation has grown substantially. And things are starting to look up. I'm starting to feel like I'm not this tiny little country with very little to offer the world. I'm starting to become a player on the world stage, and that's only going to continue to improve. That's my goal. That's what I want to see happen. So if you have any input into that, if you have any questions, if there's something you want me to show you that maybe you want to learn a little bit more about the mod, or there's something specific, use the comment section below. I try to answer those things as best I can. And if you have input that you want to have into the direction that I choose to go, I would love to hear that as well. I'd love to kind of take that advice on. So thanks for watching. If you would hit that thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. We'll see you back here hopefully tomorrow with another episode as the Nation of Israel. This is Millennium Dawn, a modern day mod for Hearts of Iron 4. Thanks for watching.